How's
Okay.
Josie friendlier?
Don't worry about it. These are questions
Um,
you don't need to ask.
Not yet, because no one's actively bleeding.
Yep.
Just in case you're wondering, like the mechanics behind it, no one's actively bleeding yet. However, there is a chance that he or someone misses their next shot. Because the threshold is still 3. If not, wound one of your friends if you're shooting from a distance, or in Joji's case, swinging his cudgel as if the world depends on it. If that crowbar lands against Annabelle, there is very little chance, i.e. slam and none, went to Disneyland for vacation, that he does not split or rip skin, which would cause even the wane droplets of the taste circulating because of her effort to spring forth, which would cause a need for a frenzy check. If you continue firing, i.e. you and India continue firing, and miss, i.e. come up short of that 3, there is a very immediate chance of graphic bodily harm to either Joji or Annabelle, which would precipitate a frenzy check.
I can only see this going well for me.
Fuck off. No, it not.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's not like it's not like Joji has a history of incidentally sinking Fang into his coterie members.
No one needs to know about that, okay?
I'm just saying, if you bite me, I'm biting you back, and you're gonna like it more than I do. But I will give you an extra die in, like, strength.
I feel icky.
You will work with him to help extricate you from the gaping maw of the endlessness of forever. Unlike the actual arms of Araman, which contain their own little bits of the antithesis to life, because they are summoned forth from all that is the oblivion. This gaping maw of endlessness, because you have touched the infinite, you have been touched by the infinite. You have been to that place which is separate from all things that are and have been alive. You've been to Mirori's Demazin. You've been to her domain outside of space, time, and understanding of existence. You've been lost in that forever. This is separate still from that. This is completely and wholly divisible from oblivion itself. This is where, if you were to put your finger on it and have the time to calmly compare and contrast, this is the space where forever ends. This is the space where all that has been, all that could be, all that might be, end up. This is when the memory of the notion of the idea no longer exists and has been unborn, uncreated. This is something wholly different. Not even the spirits and rays of the world would feel comfortable in its presence. Not even the spirits long dead or never having existed would take comfort in all of that inky forever. Mechanically, this is akin and a smaller version of the storms that rage across the necropoli on the other side of existence. These are the things that eat oblivion. These are the things that shred the overwrought, overworked bureaucracies of the underworld. This is a small tear in the fabric of things. This is something that most spirits that hang on to a portion of themselves, most living and formerly living things would consider an impossibility. And it's got a hold of you. We are 3 minutes outside of hard start, and we have several ideas as to where everyone is.
Hell
We
yeah.
have the consideration sitting there before us. And while it means so very little to the wide width of the world, it means, in fact, a great deal to me that you all are here. That we, as often as we can, get a chance to step away from our real lives, our real worlds, and dine, feast, gorge ourselves on all of the fantastical happenings for these and other characters. All of that simply to say thank you, and thank you. And without further adoing until we don't, this is officially, without a shadow of a doubt, in every way that counts and in many ways that don't, the dark of Bethany. Tonight's episode being the finale of our season. Tonight's episode wrapping up several seasons of turmoil, drama, tension, more often than not tragedies, and bidding adieu to former close friends, associates, and souls that we will no longer touch. So once for the record, 2 times for the glory, and 3 times for the show. Tonight's episode is entitled A Day's Great Winds and Herd Mothers. When last we left these characters, we left the coterie, they were in turmoil, which, while not frequent, is far from infrequent for their ever-expanding potential immortalities. Be that turmoil of the soul, the mind, or the body, they have visited upon this place often enough to know the landmarks. Not all of the landmarks, not all of the dips and valleys, the rolling hills, or the skyscraping mountains, but they know the greatest of landmarks because they visit them quite often, torn between decision and indecision in preparations of actions yet to come, or in mourning actions untaken, or deciding if any action is actually needed. Because what we use as our guiding light, even inaction is in fact an action. So, Annabelle, ensconced in shadow, being pulled further into the gaping maw of forever, in a place where time neither exists nor has ever been mentioned or thought of nor created. Joji swinging his cudgel, his crowbar, as if the world depends on his absolute and indefatigable success. Lita and India standing at a distance, firing their sidearms into all of that inky blackness, as all 4 members of the coterie watch as Shackleton hightails it down the road as quickly as he possibly can. For the second time, his escape falling hard on the heels of absolute chaos erupting. And with that knowledge of where we are, what has happened, what could happen, goes without saying, but I will all the same. What do, gang? What do?
All right. Who wishes to go first? Okay. Huh?
Yeah. So, Annabelle, catches a glimpse of Shackleton escaping, and she gets really friggin' pissed. And she's convinced she's going to die, but she's gonna take this asshole down with her. And so she takes this experience that she is having, and she has it come out of his rearview mirror and attack him in his car, using Fata Morgana, so that he will both see and feel what it's like in here, and hopefully make him crash.
All right, and as for my action, I'm just gonna try and break loose from this shit. I'm not really managing to do anything but irritate it, so yeah. And I'm having a really hard time keeping in control of myself. Really, really hard time.
Lita, as you'll be piloting both Lita and India, what is it that you're intending to do?
Oh. Did we hit some of the connection issues they warned us about?
Going once, going twice, going thrice. Lita, are you still out there? That does not seem to be an affirmative in that regard.
I'll take that as a, unfortunately, no. Let's see. Alright, how about this? We'll split them. Since there's two of us here, we can take care of this. Which one do you want, India or Lita? Okay, well, I'll take Lita. Fuck it.
Alright, I'll be India, because I'm a gangle.
Hell yeah. So, Lita, I, as far as I'm aware, very knowledgeable of the occult, very versed in this sphere of things. Kind of just seeing this monstrosity, this creation, rather than attempting to beat it to death, hit it, or pull anybody from the fire, is going to look for a way to banish, dispel, just kind of rack her memory and investigate the area around for clues. Just kind of put that big old brain of hers to work and see what she can get done about getting rid of this thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Oh, hey! Welcome back, Lita!
Welcome back.
My connection is super unstable.
Yeah.
All right.
Fuck you, Shackleton.
Fuck yeah. Fuck Shackleton. He can go to hell.
I got a messy critical 7
Oh.
on my illusion.
Oh no.
Yes, and what's your total of manipulation and obfuscate? Nope, sorry. Manipulation plus presence. Sorry. What is your manipulation plus presence, my dear? Meh.
Manipulation plus presence is
Yes.
4, 5, 6.
Nice.
Fata
Eso
Morgana
se-
is
eso 6.
Hmm?
What?
Wait, did I?
Did
don't
I
think
do
so.
that?
No, my dice pool should have been one higher. Because I didn't update when I bought more obfuscate.
Ruh-roh.
Didn't work. Didn't help. But
Well, here's
But
the thing,
it
though.
did.
Remember, you used a willpower, right?
yeah. Let's see. How many did I actually reroll? You know what? I can't tell. Well, there's no dice left that are failures, so.
And then
Oh
Joji.
God!
Oh Jesus!
Sorry. I just got distracted by that. So, what is it? What's it you need?
As you are wailing for dear life to free yourself, and well, to be perfectly honest, you're not actually ensorcelled. You are very much breaking Annabelle out of all of the darkness as her face fixes and contorts with this. It is 100% a lewd moment. It is
Oh,
100%. It is 100% a moment where you're seeing something that you should not. Her brow is wrinkled with the effort of reaching across the distance, catching the last fleeting glint from any light inside of the driver's cabin of the fleeing vehicle. Piercing and straining past the red that is not glowing from the brake light, the rear light as the car makes its way further and further away. As her brow reflects the strain and the effort of tapping into all of that ungodly supernatural ability. The truth of kindred abilities is, it is in fact a very real double-edged sword. You can only go as deeply as you are willing to be affected. You can only project as far as you are willing to be pulled. And in sharing the absolute baleful dread and despair of the absence of everything, connecting with that underlying humanity, that fear of fading into obsolescence, that fear of not measuring up, that antithetical understanding that only by carrying the load do you get stronger. All of that wrapped up into a moment that for a sensate such as yourself is as close to the divine as any of the often touted out, oh Jesus, oh God, oh God, help me, you have ever heard. It is as close to the divine as you can ever be when you or anyone near you is so wrapped up in giving their absolute all to a thing. It is literally and figuratively that moment where the artist is overcome, verklempt with the beauty in the rustling of a paper bag caught in the wind. So as you are straining and focused and fixating on freeing your compatriot, you accidentally brush the face of God.
it's definitely a stunning experience in the midst of all of this to just have that revelation, that like almost artistic appreciation for what's happening, drown out all else. I imagine that. Continue.
Mm-hmm. You imagine?
I said I imagine that's in fact very detrimental to my efforts to escape, to be stunned from something in the midst of my efforts.
Now you're grasping what's happening.
So this illusion was only inside of his car, but
Viva!
It's not the illusion, it's the effort. It's the it's the straining against the restrictions of the flesh. The straining against the shackles that hold you to the moment you're trapped in. Not just now, not just with the endless maw attempting to consume you, but we are all stuck in a moment. We are always stuck in the moment. And if we allow ourselves to not be stuck, but to experience that moment, it is a sublime bit of, well, Joji,
Mm-hmm.
would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your strength plus melee? You do need 3 successes or higher.
Uh-oh.
Flail and work at the endless nothing. These are shadows. This is darkness. It shouldn't have a form. Yet, as the crowbar crashes and slams against it, you feel the reverberation of impact. You feel it striking something that is imperceptibly dark. It is almost the perfect absence of light. And if you had a moment to sit down and consider it, what that means and how dangerous that could be might overwhelm your sense of bravery, might overwhelm your efforts to do anything more than just establish distance. However, and luckily for you, you don't have that time. You don't have that moment.
Yep. Alright. Let me put difficulty 3 here. Character Joji.
Come on, you got this.
Fuck no, I don't. Let's go.
it's fine.
It is so fine.
This is what I
Stationary
get.
target, DC of 0. And while that is happening, that is exactly where Annabelle will be post haste, if not sooner. And while all of that is happening, being as Lita is reaching into the unreal, the absence of things, reaching into that deep diving understanding of this world and the next, would you be so kind as to roll your intelligence plus oblivion as high as you can, less than 3, and you're going to screw this up.
Ruh-roh.
It's not a bad dice pool. Intelligence plus 2. Hunger.
95.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
What was the difficulty?
As high as you possibly can.
Nope, something's getting angry in the background.
No, we don't like that very much, though. Much better. Okay. And lastly, but not leastly, who was rolling for India?
Let me see if I can find melee roll for, or she was doing firearms, I think.
Yes. Were you rolling for India? Give me a quick second. I'll bring up the most up to date. Your dice pool is. Ooh. Okay, so you're gonna have to route. Your dice pool is gonna be 5. Yeah,
And
specialties.
hunger is
No.
2.
Wow!
5, hunger 2. And rouse.
Whatever your dice pool is, it apparently astonished your cat.
Wow!
Hey!
India's good at things.
India is great at things. Unfortunately, go ahead and see how. Oh, you already included the rouse. Look at that. Look
Yes.
at that. So the hanger gets up the trace, as they say.
I sure do.
So several things happen at once, as they always do in these situations. The beauty of witnessing a thing is that you will never, ever see the truth of it. Not really. There's a distance where reality is solely what you choose. And that's a very large problem when attempting to remember what happened, because your memory, just like the reality that you choose, changes when you attempt to call on it. Every time you remember something, you're not actually remembering that moment. You're getting in touch with the feelings you had or believe you had. But every time you interact with your memory, every time you try to recall something, you're recalling the last time you recalled that information, not that actual information. It's a game of telephone you play with yourself forever in some cases. Lita, there were legends of the founding of this town. From a church that sold liquor to the several hundred that sprung up in the area, forming a network of protections for those who dared the wilderness, who left civilization and stayed right on the hoary edge of the encroachment of mankind, where they could live as God intended amongst the beasts, earning their daily bread through the effort and sweat of their brow. In that fabled time, in those legends, living out on the edge of things, the reason for all of the churches, the reason for all of the hallowed grounds is because they touched things that should have remained untouched. They stared into the dark and refused to blink. They traipsed, travailed, and dared the things out there in the dark. And their only way to fight back was through the efforts of their faith. The only way to carve out some sense of self and plot a path towards the future was to effectively colonize the outer reaches. And so you reach out with your understanding of the dark, and you peer into the spaces between this world and the next, and you look for anchor points that you can call on to force whatever this thing is back whence it came across the veil. And as you peer into that murky, endless, silvery, dark sea, something stares back. Something inhuman stares back. Something that causes your vitae, already inert, passively existing inside of your being, to freeze solid Your mouth goes open. Your fangs do your hunger already at the edge of breaking through. Retreat back. And it looks at you. And it, instead of maintaining a comfortable conversational distance across the veil, eats forward, climbing through all of that murky darkness that is attempting to swallow Annabelle whole. And while you're watching that, the explosive gunshots and firearm discharge from India all but rattles your teeth, as if it is striking explosives with each shot. Shell after shell goes flying down the line, striking through and causing many explosions in the very fabric of this darkness in front of you. As nearly tearing through, and otherwise perforating Joji. Joji's crowbar strikes true, crashing down on Annabelle's femur. Crashing through Annabelle's femur. The vitae goes flying free. And if not for injury and insult, it would be a good thing. Because in breaking her femur, in shattering that connection to all of that darkness, she is in fact free as it reaches back and recoils from all of the explosions from India's firearm. And just as it recoils, something slips free. A lighter shadow, not quite as dark, not quite as endless.
Annabelle starts screaming and cursing because she is a wimp and she doesn't like getting fucking her leg broken. So she tries to like crawl away, to put distance between both her and this shard of oblivion, and between her and Mr. Fangy over there.
Yeah. Don't worry, I just want to suck your blood. Bleh, bleh, bleh.
It's not that you want some blood, it's that how much you want.
The entirety of it. And therein lies the dilemma presently. You saw something flicker past you. Something escape like a lifeboat from the Titanic, splashing down into all of that cold, dark, endless sea. You saw something like Kal-El's rocket shooting forth from an exploding planet. You saw something like Moses' bassinet slipping down the Nile. You saw something, but there's nothing there to see. And that's almost as worrying as your hunger coming due. The bill slamming down with all of the speed and angry of Thor himself. To be so kind as to go ahead and roll a frenzy check, please.
Oh, yeah, baby! Alright, this is, difficulty 4?
No, it's just sight. You haven't touched it, you haven't tasted it, you can't actually smell it just yet because there is just enough distance and as you're in the middle of making sure that she's completely free, severing the leg completely. After all, you've already started. You might as well finish.
Don't lick the crowbar. You can have the other end of the leg, it's fine.
Oh, yeah? Okay, I'll move her. Alright, so this is difficulty 2, character Joji. Success!
Thank God.
I have resisted the frenzy for a turn.
You have, like someone possessed of the spirit of meth and crack combined all into one frenetic action. You go blurringly fast, wailing and trying to free Annabelle to stock rigid still. It's as if your whole entire body doesn't freeze like a statue. No, that's for something and someone's far more calm. It is as if your entire body has transformed into a Charlie horse, and you're vibrating in your stillness so fast that anyone more than a foot from you sees you as being still. The effort to restrain the beast that is tearing at the very bars of your being is Hercules' 13th labor. It is very much the definition of the impossible. And yet, like the gossamer strands holding Fenrir still from devouring the entirety of the world, you, despite your weakness in this moment, hold far more adamantine than any other shackle. The bars that are your being remain resolute against all of the efforts of your beast, harrowing every facet of you, assailing you down to the genetic level. You hold it still. You hold the door. You keep the line. You stand alone on the bridge against the angry horde of your beast. And you say, not today. Not now.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Ugh. Then I guess with that bout of ironed will, Juji will keep just trying to get Annabelle loose from this thing. Trying to get her free.
I think I
Lita?
am free. Didn't you cut my leg off?
I don't know about free.
Not cut. No,
Sorry.
no.
Broke. You tore it in half.
Just, crushingly through the bone of the femur. It's fine. You could grow more, or find the samich to reattach someone else's leg. You always wanted to be a runner, after all. Wouldn't it work better if you had, slightly more muscled content there? You can just graft on more and more muscle.
All right.
Or I could just take my leg and put that back on.
Then
Yeah, but then you wouldn't be a runner.
in this moment of desperate willpower, I will just throw Annabelle clear of this area so that she's no longer a temptation for me and no longer a potential victim of this. So broke the leg, now grab, then try and get some distance, try and give her some real airtime.
So as she flies through the fucking air, she's like,
And
someone's not getting a Christmas present this year.
I suppose once she's no longer in danger, he'll turn his attention back to whatever the fuck this thing is.
Lita, what do you think this thing is?
Uh,
You saw what escaped.
That's a good question. I'm not really sure. Could be a lot of things.
You don't have to be sure, but what's your working hypothesis? What's your prognostication in the face of the end? Because you can give it whatever name you like, as nearly every founder of any theorem and every theorem that you have studied has given it a name.
Well,
Sometimes they have the wherewithal of finding the actual name, what it calls itself, but more times than not, that's never the case.
well, my worst case scenario is that it's another demon.
And for us laymen, as you stare into the approximation of a face, as you stare into the ever increasing, endless nothingness that Joji is beating back, that is screaming in an inaudible language. It is an indiscernible thing. It is recoiling in response to India's firearm, which should be an impossibility, as shadows and things from the dark typically don't have a physical form. Yet it is recoiling and responding as if India's shots are holy, blessed weapons imbued with faith or knowledge. It is recoiling as if it has a corpus that can be affected. And while that's happening, the other thing, the other aspect that broke free, that escaped, that crawled through the endless dark of this recoiling mass of horror, prowling at the edges of your vision, is prowling at the edges of your awareness, and it is closing on Annabelle, who's been tossed free of one horror and far closer to another.
Oh, good.
Oh.
But I continue to scream. That's.
Yes.
Well, if bullets seem to work, then I'll probably take another pot shot. I'll probably take a pot shot at it.
Yes, leader. Do take your pot shots. The one thing I must know is, are the lambs silent now, leader? Are they? Bleeding continues. The bleating, not the bleeding. Luckily, you guys are dead, so you really don't have to bleed unless, of course, you really want to, or you suffered enough graphic and tragic, traumatic bodily harm. But the bleeding, the cries for assistance, the cries of pain, the attempt to ease continues. There are some things that should have happened, Annabelle. There are some things that should have occurred. It takes a special sort of person to not succumb to the dark. You have been counseling long enough that no matter where you are on the spectrum of bravery, no matter where you are on the spectrum of self-awareness, every being has an instinctual fear of the dark. The brave don't allow that to stop them. However, that fear is still there. And that fear is there for one specific thing. And there are two ways of looking at it, but it's still just that one thing. Many fear the dark because they don't know what's out there in it. The other half of the population fears the dark specifically because they know what is out there in it. The brave don't allow themselves to stop their mission, their goal, because of that fear. Yet even they take a moment, a second, a microfraction to compose themselves and press on. There was not even a brief tapping, a touch, a breezing pass of the brake of Shackleton's vehicle as it continues speeding along the road.
I hate him.
What can you say, man? He is the one, bro. He is him.
Well, his danger level just went up.
Danger, Will Robinson.
As you take off another few shots, as it recoils and moves further back into what was used as its doorway. What was used as this doorway was that spilled, dribbled on mass of dark, inky darkness that is the signs that a vehicle is leaking oil all over this church parking lot. In its escape, whether it's prompted by Shackleton or by someone else, it used all of that Texas gold to escape, to come across. And it did so very, very easily because this is in fact hallowed ground. This is consecrated ground. The boundaries between this world and the next are thinner in these places. Having grown up in the South, having grown up around these people, these believers, these faithful, and knowing what you now know, you understand when they say that they are moved by the Spirit, it is very much a real thing. Their fellowship, their faith compiled all in one place has made the boundary between this world and all of the others as thin as paper mache. And all it takes is a few dedicated tears to rip that hole wide enough for all sorts of things and powers to slip through. For application of that is that there are several hundred churches in and around Bethany. This is akin to trying to dodge mines in a place that has found a way to have them multiply on themselves like rabbits. It's not so much of an avoiding a mine, it's just trying to make sure that they don't chain react.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, sorry, that just
Oh,
scared the fuck. Continue.
No, so as it retreats into the oil spill, and there's nothing left to bring your holy, blessed crowbar down upon, as the last shots from India's firearm ricochet concrete instead of off of the manifested corpus of whatever that entity was. As you all listen as the last echoing reverb from India and Lita's firearm dissipates, as the hunger that possessed you is considerably more manageable, and as Annabelle's cries of pain and realization as to how bad things could be and how worse they could have been are, what is it that you all do?
Joji is going to be beating feet away from the group, barely able to contain himself, and just going to try and find like a nearby, like not too far away. I'm not actually just running off into the grand horizon, but nearby space to just sit down and collect myself while everybody else is figuring out what to do next. Because the only thing that Joji can think of right now is how fucking terrible it is to only eat one chip out of the bag. You can't just do that. Can't ever just have one chip. You gotta continue to feed your needs once you start. And my God, does he want to start?
So what does he need? What is it that he needs? It's an easy question to ask. It's not an easy question to really ponder. Not an easy question to really wrap your head around or your soul around. Because what you need and what you want, while they are synonymous, they are not the same. The act of feeding, the act of consuming the life's blood of another creature, provides you with the opportunity of being as intimate with their soul as any living or approximated living being can be. Because you're not taking in just their blood, you're taking in their experiences, loves, their hates, their hopes, things about their actions and their pride and their outcomes. You're taking in the entirety of a person in as intimate a way as is possible. You are both inside everything that was them and could be them. You're living in their potential in those moments. And they, without ever realizing it, are touching you in such an intimate way that nothing ever comes as close. Nothing.
God damn. Yeah, he is halfway between running off to find something to connect with or engaging in that desire here and now. It's for Joji, someone who's very isolated in his own mind, who's very alone in most things, feels as if he's been abandoned, and for the most part really was. The act of feeding recently has taken on a role of that unity, that togetherness. It's a brief window through which he can see a not so lonely future. And there's always that whisper in the back of his head that tells him that sharing that moment with someone is a beautiful, benevolent act, and he shouldn't fight it because, well, he's giving them a gift.
Yes.
And that's the kind of thoughts that he's struggling against as he's just, can someone get me something to fight this off? His fangs bared and his hands clasped over his eyes so he doesn't see anything that sets him off.
I'd love to, but I can't fucking walk. Thanks, that fucking mage.
Okay, just
And you. But I'm not.
crawl away as quickly as possible. Get in the car. I'm just gonna have to. Oh, I'm just gonna have to work through this.
Did the shadow thing die? Is it gone?
It retreated.
It is gone.
Retreated.
Retreated.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear about that, because then I'm gonna well, I'm not going to because I'm not fast enough. But I ask, can somebody grab my leg? I can't leave it here. And then she crawls to the car and gets in and she says, I think we all need to eat before anything worse happens.
As you're speaking, Annabelle, I need you to take a meta consideration. As you're piloting India, knowing what you know of her, with Joji in such dire need, what do you think her instinctual response would be?
Oh, right. her response is probably going to be to offer to feed him herself.
There is
Mm-hmm.
there's little to no resistance to that.
So she goes over and she picks up Annabelle's leg, and she kind of crouches next to Joji, and she's like, she kind of chuckles and says, you know, you can open your eyes. I want you to look into my eyes.
He
And
just
then
slowly peels the fingers away from his face.
she says, it's gonna be okay. And then she like bites her wrist and she offers it to him.
Yeah, it's not a sensual thing out the gate. It's not a soft, lovely engagement as the blood hits the air and he understands what she's doing and he understands she's doing it for him. He latches onto that fucking thing like fuck, what's the word? Like steel being dragged to an electromagnet.
Nice.
Roll your frenzy for me, please.
All right. Now this one is. Let me pull up.
Fortunately for
Yeah, that's gonna be ugly. Yeah. I had to roll fucking 2 10s or all success if I wanted that to play out right.
is, unfortunately for every Toreador, beauty even in the savagery of the most carnal, bestial of things. So if another Toreador had been watching, another sensate who had an idea of the classical aesthetics of beauty, the savage wildness, the noble savage, or any of those illusory things to other the moment, to separate and delve into the feeling of a moment as foisted upon by outsiders. But there aren't any other sensates around. There's Lita, there's Annabelle, and there's the thing prowling in the shadow. And what they see is as close to animalistic as is possible. It is as close to watching a wildlife documentary as you could ever come and not be on the menu. And even still, knowing that they are not specifically on the menu does not keep them safe. Because there's no way that you can give yourself over so viscerally to your beast and anyone within touchable range be close and safe at the exact same time. The illusion of safety aside, most endearing thing that you've all seen, because of its savagery, because of the rending, the mewling cries of joy of the soul, the need to dominate even as they are being dominated, the drive towards sustenance and succor, violent, forceful displays you have seen. And Lita, it is doubly worse for you. As a member of your particular clan, The only time that you've come close to seeing such a thing is when the victims are already marked for death or already dead. The closest you've seen such a thing is in the consumption of flesh, which your sire unfortunately does. Savaging of a corpse. It's the dismantling of some purported criminal. It is the literal pound of flesh taken as the victim cries out. This, there's no recoil of the soul. There's no scouring of the mind. The sheer pain of it burning through the flesh, the mind, and the soul both at once. None of that is part of that just assaultive display between the two of them. Because at first it starts like everything else. Spark. Something small enough to easily be missed. Then it's a full-fledged conflagration, a bonfire, as India gives way to her beast. Because there's only so much vitae you can take from another kindred, and that not be the recourse. And she sinks fangs home as well. And then the tearing and savaging, somewhere in the middle of that give and take and take and take and take and take and give, they reach a balance. They reach an armistice. And finally, sated and being sated upon, descend to that quiet appeasement, those quiet joys. And what was initially begun in combat, the urge and effort to dominate one and the other, to keep oneself satiated, becomes simple touch. Two beings, two flames flickering in the dark, keeping all of what is out there at bay together.
Indeed.
It is always fun to find yourself completely victim to your existence.
Yep.
Well, you know, as the joke says, your beast is speaking to you. Now I likes you, and I want you. Now we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way.
Hmm.
Who are we kidding? Your beast always selects the hard way. It always seeks to dominate you, even when it's losing, even when you wrestle it into submission. It is only at its choice. Because a hungry wolf is a deadly wolf. A fed wolf is a strong wolf. But a deadly wolf is a dangerous wolf. It will find a way. Moment descends into quiet. It is 26 after the hour. Let's take a quick 10. Be back here at 40 after and move into the next portion of the evening, because there's a lot going on. You guys have unleashed so very much upon the world and upon our minds. We'll be happy to see how you guys figure it out, what to do next. I don't want to break free. I want to break free. What are we doing, folks?
I'm doing fine, doing fine. Oh, Doing a little bit of strategizing, trying to figure out what the fuck to do.
Also, not sure where the damage and hunger ended up.
Yoji and India are presently at 3 hunger each.
Yes.
Damage-wise, what was his actual final roll? Okay, share. Joji, what's 3 plus your strength total?
Oh,
5.
geez.
So 2.5 rounded up means that you are. Yeah. Go ahead, mark down 2 superficial health losses.
Sorry about that. My
And
head
what?
killed itself.
And Annabelle, what's your total stamina
2.
versus 5? That's the amount of pain she's actually in.
I'm impaired.
Nice.
I'm at 100% superficial.
Joji's kind of a badass, even when he misses.
Yeah. So Annabelle's like kind of like just like staring out the windshield as Joji and India are like sucking face, and like she's just holding India's just holding Annabelle's leg, and she's just like, "Come on, just
Bring me the light. Just
just bring me the leg. Just I
you fucking gangrels don't even know how to play fetch right.
Fortunate thing. On top of the series of unfortunate things. In the course of this, because of the frenzy that occurred, because India knows enough to turn into the skid instead of trying to turn away from it to pull out of such losses of control. While she does not receive the full 2 animal features, as per her clan name, she does receive the 1. And in this case, it is not easy to hide in the line, which is where most people always go. How can I find a affectation, an effect that minimizes the effect of the actual flaw? The difference between what cougars, mountain lions, tigers, cheetahs even have versus what house cats, dogs, and guinea pig and chipmunks have is, while it seems to be short, manageable, a buzz cut of such things, it's not. The hairs are so thick and strong and pressed firmly against the body, holding the heat or maximizing the heat release as it is needed. It looks as if they are hairless or they're short, tough. That's what sprouts across her skin. That's what covers the back of her hands, down through her knuckles, up along her forearms, down her neck, across her face. An actual coat. Those invisible hairs that, well, relatively invisible hairs in places that hair shouldn't be, or we don't believe actually is there and apparent in the middle of engagement, in the middle of this sharing, in the middle of this connection. There's a sprouting, a exploding through her pores of this coarse coat, short enough that from a distance it doesn't seem to be there. It just looks as if she's grown paler and tanner both at once. lighter hued skin. Being up close and personal, and a very sensuous person, and not sensual, but a sensual in regards to of the senses that Joji is. He notices it in bas relief. He understands and feels and luxuriates in that touch. Because there is some comfort there. On a cold Texas, Louisiana night, it's the sort of thing that you snuggle up under with your nearest and dearest and not really even think about. And yet it's there to be touched, stroked, and pet, and
Always fun. Always fun.
thinking that we're all back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, while all of that is happening, you're left with a thought for Lita. You're left with a moment of consideration. And while it wasn't phrased as such, it in fact very much was. Lita has been ostracized socially for one reason or another. Her money, her outlook on life, and various other reasons throughout the course of her existence. Much the same during her death. Her clan, which is a sect unto themselves, by dint of them keeping secrets, by dint of them always working towards the betterment of themselves versus others, they are still, even when they are accepted amongst the anarchs, even when they are accepted amongst the Tower, the Ashura, the Laban councils of Africa, the many wild and wondrous political associations and affiliations throughout the Central and South Americas, are ostracized on their own because they keep a wall of secrets between them and others. Being this close, emotionally, physically, to others is not her natural state. It's the reason why she was shaken to her core when Joji and India previously attempted to distract a demigod, a being from outside of this realm, with their closeness. It's not a comfortable position for Lita, due lack of experience and exposure, and so she typically turns away or turns inward. Knowing that there is another greater demon, another greater outsider that has escaped and is prowling like a hungry predator towards Annabelle. Does she do, knowing that in attempting to force close the boundary between this and all of the other connective worlds, something else, which could and might grow as potent as mirrory, is free?
Uh-oh. So wait, that's two abyssal entities that we have sent forth into the world.
Yes.
Ah.
But you only know about mirrory, Joji, so it's okay. You're fine. You're good.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss, baby!
And you love that bliss.
Damn right, I love that bliss. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, super good. All right, now back to the conversation.
So, Lita,
Yes.
is there anything that you would like to say, do, or otherwise engage with as Joji and India find and touch heaven?
Well, I think we need to get out of here because we just shut off a bunch of rounds in a church. I mean, apart from whatever the hell that thing was, I mean, staying around seems like a bad idea. We need to boogie the hell out of here.
Eventually, breaking free of their mutual embrace, Joji will cough and clear his throat before. Yeah. I don't want to be around whenever the rest of the shit that's around here takes notice. And you two need. Fuck, actually, we all really need something to bottom out the tanks before daytime comes.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here.
Okay. He says, getting up and moving back towards the vehicle and just... once we've got a more secure moment, I think discussing how we might, open the
Keep talking.
treasure
One
box.
sec.
What? Nani? Okay. Discussing how we might open the treasure box, with a different key might be in order. We're probably not gonna find that guy again.
Well, you could Blue do it again, then Mr. Blue or whatever, and he might be able to point us in this direction again.
Yeah, but what kind of favor would he ask for doing it again? I mean, we can ask. We can, because we don't know if it'll be bad or not. But also, we still need to think of other options.
We do. We also leave before the cops get here.
Yeah, that's exactly why I am. He says as he gets himself into the back seat, closes the door. All for getting the hell out of here.
Yeah. Annabelle takes her leg from India and kind of sticks it on the end of the stump. And she kind of heels it back together a little bit.
So Annabelle's driving? Nice.
Yeah, I've got 2 feet now.
Oh. At least it's not 2 left feet.
Annabelle just being in incredible pain. And she's being angry at everybody and herself. Because she knew it was a trap. She just didn't think it was going to be that kind of trap. Which is why she kind of tried to poke it with a thing, but it wasn't a long enough thing.
I tried to detonate the trap with a 10-foot pole. Unfortunately, I'm bad at measuring.
Yeah, it turned out it was a 1-foot pole. And now I only have 1 foot.
Absolutely.
But is that true, though? Even if you put it in your purse, you'd still have 2 feet. Only one would be attached.
All right, let's go. Let's go. We can talk after we're not in this area.
Will you ever not be in this area? This is home. This is where the bad guys don't come for you, right?
Yeah, that's proven
So,
true.
as you all trundle into the vehicle, the question as to who's driving, of course, arises. There's also a question as to where you all are headed.
I think I can drive and I can take us to the campus. I believe I have materials there that might be useful for us, either in accessing information or in whatever it is that we plan. Also, they need something to snack upon, and what better way within the area of this place to get very inebriated, very not paying attention young adults in one location, you know?
I like it. Let's go kill some students.
What? No, no killing. No killing.
Why? I mean, if we don't kill them, we need more of them.
Are you listening to your... Why not just wantonly murder people in the place that I work? Why, Annabelle?
Look, I'm in a lot of pain, okay? I might not be thinking exactly straight.
Okay, yeah, just no killing.
Fine.
Do we... How many more uses do we have of the candle?
All of them. I haven't used it.
Okay, but like how many is all of them?
I don't know. Does it have any like marks on it?
Yeah, you got about 5 or 6,
Gotcha, okay.
depending.
Depends on how long you want to burn it for.
Alright, well, do we want to have a conversation about how to get into the treasure chest, or do we want to wait until later? I'm all for having it on the drive. We're basically doing nothing else anyways.
I don't fucking care.
Alright, cool, great, he says, pulling the candle out of whoever has its backpack or pouch.
It's fine.
What, you light it then.
I will. And she lights it.
Okay, how the fuck are we gonna do this? Lita, do you have any options? Annabelle, do you have any options? Because I can't fuck with mystical shit. And we need to subvert those wards. We need to slip in, not by breaking them, but by just making them not detect us. And then we also just need to actually sneak in.
We could try walking through the mirror. There's gotta be mirrors in there.
Wait, you
They're
can
not
fucking
wrong.
do that?
Oh, you didn't notice?
No. I mean, I thought that was like a one-off thing. Also, don't you think they would have that place warded against Mirrori's power?
I don't know. Did they know she's there?
I'm pretty sure they're the ones that fucked with her in the first place.
That's true, but hubris.
Okay. And I think at the college, we need to get a hold of as good a blueprint of that building as possible to figure out where we need to put this thing down.
Yeah.
Well,
Hmm?
So, for the record, I can't just walk through mirrors. I do have to ask every time.
Gotcha. Okay, Lita, what were you saying?
well, there's still the issue of dealing with the Tremere once we get inside.
Yeah, the hopeful intention is to not be spotted and or recognized.
Well, that's a noble goal and all, but we're talking about an unknown number of kindred that we have to take out some way or other.
Yeah, I'm betting that if... When's the next big Shreveport event? Like, when's the next Elysium for these people up here? Because I'm betting if we get everything set up for that, that'll be when the least of their numbers are within that building.
I thought we wanted to kill them all.
Yeah, planting the bomb is one thing. Detonating the bomb is another.
So we're doing the bomb thing. Okay, that makes sense.
Unless you had another mass Kaz plan?
I don't know, a bear?
Okay, so so we need to get a hold of a blueprint, we need to figure out a way to subvert their wards, and we need to figure out when the next big event is for the Shreveport kindred populace.
That sounds correct, yes.
Okay, well, then we've got things to look into. Who wants to take what?
I can get in touch with my sire. He'll probably know when the next Elysium is.
Personally, I would prefer you focusing on the wards, honestly.
Well, that's probably not a bad idea.
Annabelle, are you good at networking?
Talking, yes. I am.
Okay, then do you know anybody up here in Shreveport?
Actually, I'm kind of known around here now.
All right, good. Then you get your hands on when the next big fucking hullabaloo is gonna happen, and I'll go through the university's library and see if I can't find something on that building.
All right.
But let's get something to eat first before we go through all of that, because I don't want any of you getting bitey while you're out and about alone.
I'm good. I ate earlier at the Candyman's.
All right, cool. So it's just us three then.
I need to eat and I need to heal, and then I probably need to eat some more.
Okay. Well, I think we can just wrap that up, make it look like a cast or something, so you don't get noticed.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. And how are you going to do that? Who has the highest medicine?
I have a medicine of 1, but an intelligence of 4.
Oh, I'm in 3 medicine 1.
I don't think I have any medicine.
Uh-oh. Alright, well, that is the plan, at least, as we cruise our way on off to the university to divide and conquer. We set up our original plan, we got the materials to carry out said plan, but now we just need the right time and the right place.
Yes. Which, unfortunately, for immortal beings, it is amazing how often, when you have the rest of forever, how often the now is ultimately important. The drive from Bethany up to Shreveport, because of your familiarity with the area, because of your understanding of the ebbs and flows of travel, You all are able to make that drive in considerably less time than one would expect. Now, the question as to where in Shreveport are you going to alight? Are you heading back to your centralized location at India's place there, just off of Meadow Parkway? Are you headed to Annabelle's office there off of the inner loop? Are you headed to your place on the actual LT University campus there at Shreve Park in L Tech Drive? Or are you heading, or did you know of Lita's residences in Shreve?
Unless Lita has told us, no, we don't know that. And my intention was to go to the university, but
I do have my herd at my office. Occasionally.
okay, so would you prefer to be dropped off there then?
Yeah.
Alright, so on the way to the campus, we'll be dropping her off at her office so that she can relatively safely feed. And then head off to the university unless anybody says anything different. Okay.
Where do you want me to meet you? After.
You can meet us on the campus. I'll probably be researching this fucking building all night.
So is that a library? Or campus is a large place.
Yeah, there's a library here.
Okay.
Okay, so in the William Shreve Park office, or okay, no, Louisiana Tech University. Here we go. Thank you.
Only as you get there and you get settled in the parking space to get all things moving. Do you realize exactly how close Annabelle's office is to the Louisiana Tech campus? Only as you ease into the parking lot do you realize, well, fuck, right down Shreve to the LT University campus is less than 3 minutes drive. It's about a 15-20 minute walk if you walk briskly, but it is less than a 15-minute drive. And then you have all of Technology Drive where the other college campus buildings are. You have all of the space being used for the athletic wings and what have you. Your proximity and your similar hunting pool becomes apparent.
Oh well, this is kind of awkward. See you in a little bit. I'll be at the school's library. It's pretty easy to find. Just follow the signs.
See you soon.
Yeah. Lita, feel free to take the vehicle, or if you can do your thing, hang out here. I actually have zero fucking clue how you're going to get about what we need you to do, but I wish you the best of luck, and I have full confidence in you. If you need any help, just ask.
I probably need to do a drive-by of the building and check out the wards. Hopefully they don't notice.
Alright.
The Tremere being prepared for a potential assault? No. They'd never notice a strange loitering too long in the area, testing the strength of their wards. No, they wouldn't notice. You'd be fine.
Yeah, you just gotta be really quiet and subtle about it.
That's what we're good at. Quiet and subtle.
Absolutely. Most of this group is in fact intelligence and or social builds. And yet, we have successfully managed to kill instead of negotiate with just about everything. All right. Well, I guess Joji's gonna be leading India off towards, I guess, the nearest fucking frat party.
Solid.
So, here's what we need. What is Annabelle's hunger?
It's 3. My herd is 2.
Which would take you down to 1 with no hunting roll and no effort. It is very low def to remove and reduce the demands of a beast. It still leaves you in a very, well, how did I say it in French? Fucked position in regards to physically.
Yes.
Which is where the consideration is as if when and what.
Well, she's certainly going
Well,
to heal 1.
let's see that beautiful being footage. Go ahead and roll them.
Nice. That should have been after psychic hunger.
That beautiful bean footage is
All right.
honestly a fucking reference that throws me back 10 years.
Let's see about 2.
That's gnarly. I can't believe you did that to me.
That was such a good commercial. That was so weird.
For fucking.
Can you tempt? Yeah, Duke. Duke is no longer with us, but his spirit lives on. In mending the flesh, the beast takes a sip of its pound. And you know that there is more left there for it to demand. Do you continue tempting and visiting and dealing with your herd and hunting on your safe ground for sustenance? Or do you risk more? Because as the pain is subsiding and the flesh is functionally together, the old aphorism of "it could be better" very much plays in your mind.
Certainly does. I think, yeah, I'm gonna try one more, and if I need to then actually hunt, then I will hunt. I'm hungry. So, but I don't want to overfeed on my herd.
No, that's what they're there for. They're there to help you. Wouldn't it be doing them a disservice to not allow them to help you? Because after all, it is better to give, isn't it? It is a testament of yourself when you give the gift, whether it is appreciated in the manner that you would hope or not. The idea that you thought of someone and that you were willing to continually give, to simply present, that's a strength. Why are you helping them to be weaker? Why are you denying them the strength of victory? Because that's what it is the victory over your base impulses when you simply give. Just give.
And I do make them better when I drink from them.
Some of them are suicidal anyways.
Let's have my presence one. They get a bonus social attribute for the night.
It's perfectly in line with the Beta Alpha Psi frat party too.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, having a drunk person does sound pretty good.
You be careful about eating drunk people. They can inebriate you.
I know, that's the point. I've
And you
had.
could use it with a stuffed drink.
That's right.
You def.
It has been a night, a whole friggin' night that I do
It's
not want to
so
remember.
hot.
That's the problem
It
with.
so has. You should. You should definitely. Why are you even contemplating that? There's only one way forward. That's to win. You can't win if you don't try. You should go and win yourself more precious blood. You should go and win, well, a bit of peace for yourself.
You're not wrong, man. And I'm definitely gonna.
Hello? Oh, okay. There I am. Am I back yet?
You're back. You never left.
Yes.
Oh, that was weird. No, like, I couldn't hear shit.
Oh, weird.
My internet had a whoopsie, I think.
Yeah, actually, so while I'm at my building, the person I chose to feed on was that priest. From last time. And what was I gonna add? I was gonna add something about. It was gonna be real helpful. I swear.
Good thing. And as you contemplate that and make your work your way through getting what it is that you actually deserve, because after all, you need it more than they do. You're providing them the opportunity of being a better version of themselves by giving until it hurts and several steps past. You are definitely the best version of your worst self in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of best version of worst selves, Joji, as you and India work your way through the frat party, as you all work your way through the gathered assemblage of immortal idiots that is the youth of Louisiana and the rest of the world, but right now you are in Louisiana. Would you be so kind as to roll your hunt amongst them for you both? So using your stats +1.
All right. So, use current difficulties. Just gonna be basic and plus.
I'm thinking that you guys are carousing and basically using on alley cat hunting.
Joji's style of hunting would lend into LA cat hunting, but the way that Joji hunts, he looks for people that won't go missing, that won't be looked for, that won't immediately have attention drawn if they disappear for an hour or two. So it very much, I think, feeds into the alley cat style of needing to corner, then beat the shit out of your prey. So I think that logically shows how she gives me a +1 here.
Oh, because you're hunting together?
Well, in that case, go ahead, roll your strength plus brawl. Make it happen.
Oh! Oh, okay, that's gonna be a doozy. Ugh. Can I roll her strength plus brawl? Because mine's not there.
You got this, man. Make it happen. Come on, you can do it.
Oh my
Come
god.
on.
Oh man. Here I was, just having a good time. I thought I was picking out the targets. Little did I know, she wants her man to be able to take down the prey himself. Oh god, I think I have all of 3 dice in that. This is a dumb question. Can you rouse for a hunger check for a hunting one?
Of course you can.
Yes, you can.
Okay, 'cause
Yes.
I'm gonna fucking have to. Oh, sweet baby Jesus! Fuck you, sweet baby Jesus!
Oh no. Oh, but so if you succeed and then get hungrier, do you slake before the increase because you're doing it with the roll?
No.
Or is that
Remember,
just the roll to like attack them and then you slake afterwards?
Yes.
Yeah, hunting
So-
is just getting the prey.
So you know what you need to do.
Yeah, I do.
Just remember, you said we weren't supposed to kill people.
I know,
You
which
do-
is why this is hilarious.
You do get a +1 because you and India are working in tandem.
Okay, this is my frenzy check.
Yes.
Okay, this is going to be at this point tasting blood, I believe, is difficulty 3.
3.
Yep.
Alright, difficulty 3 bonus.
I think if you just do /slake, it'll give you a button.
Oh yeah, but I can
It would.
just roll it here anyways. It's fine. Boop. Yes. Yes.
You did it!
Thank you. I want to thank the Academy, and mainly I want to thank India, but also the Academy.
It's wise to thank India first.
Oh,
It is often extraordinarily hilarious when fate lends a hand. Its sense of humor is the antithesis to humor. And yet, as the eras compile, and success is there to be taken from the jaws of defeat, you unfortunately find the wrong beast and steal defeat from the jaws of victory, only to have it turn into the world's second to last largest diamond. You have somehow found a way to turn a sow's ear into a silken purse. Your combined efforts, while you do find disposable victims, because no matter how adult they believe themselves to be, no matter how mature for their age they say and claim that they are, even if that false equivalency was true and accurate, they are inebriated. They are altered. They are less themselves now than they have been at any other time in their existence, foolishly believing in the immortality of youth, foolishly knowing that tomorrow will come and expecting to be there to see it. They find themselves alone with you in India in places that no one should be alone with you in India. And despite the voice, despite the presence, despite the weight on your shoulders from your beast, you too do the unthinkable and leave them foolishly alive enough to, in fact, see tomorrow. Bleary-eyed and hungover, having had the best moments of their existence and not be able to remember any detail. The bruises they will take pictures of and show on social media and ask their friends and their teachers about and overshare trophies, signs of victory, instead of what it really was. Examples of how close death was to them. Speaking of death and closeness and proximity, Lita, as you make your way across town toward the chantry where you know the primary members of the Tremere located. As instead of going to your sire's haven out there, not far from what road is that? That's the 20. Yeah. Instead of going out there to the 20 over there off of Westport, finding the opportunity to gather more information that route, you put yourself completely and totally in the lion's den, closing the distance on the chantry, and it's not the bravest thing that you've ever done, but you really can't think of anything else that matches up in terms of absolute worst thing you should do. You are alone. No one knows that you are there that could actually help you. The chantry there off Cotton, which is where the main chantry is in a prime location in regards to being easily gotten to by nearly every member of the chantry inside Free. And unlike the Hakata, unlike the Banuakin, unlike, well, the Coldens of the Dragons, the Tremere have a very strict and rigid order. Lesser members don't leave the chantry without permission. In fact, until they reach a certain level of respect or understanding within the chantry, within the overarching pyramid, they don't see the outside of the chantry at all. They have to prove themselves worthy of the civil liberties that most kindred take for granted. They have to understand the laws forwards, backwards, upside down, in Spanish, in Latin, in Greek, via several different ciphers, and be able to recount the entirety of it on demand. As you study the building, you move down Cotton, up Common, down around Crockett, back down Texas, and otherwise make yourself so that you're a moving target if anyone was ever to actually notice you. Would you be so kind as to roll your wits and larceny plus your auspics high as you can?
So that's just my wits. They
Mm. Let's try that again. 'Cause you only rolled your wits. You have wits plus larceny plus your aspects.
They have no larceny or aspects.
You have no. Okay. That changes things considerably. That. Oh my goodness. All right. So, what's Lita's occult?
3.
And her intelligence?
3.
Okay. As you're driving towards the Tremere Chantry, your understanding of how they work from the outside is considerably vast, which means it literally, if it was liquid matter, it would be able to fill a thimble. And that's a vast amount of Tremere knowledge from the outside of the Chantry. True factual knowledge, not the scuttlebutt, the rumors, the gossip, the leaps of illogic. But, and in association with that knowledge of the Tremere and the Chantry, the biggest thing that stands out, the largest factor as you grow nearer and nearer to the Chantry, you can't fucking see wards. They are invisible. They are unseen, unnoticeable. They are the greatest defense the Tremere have, because you will never know whether you're inside their ward, whether you've tripped that line, whether you've alerted the regent, the primogen, the segundas, the master at arms, the sergeant. You will never know how far out their wards are. You will never know how many wards are layered. You know that they exist. You know that they have rings and refortified security systems built into their wards. And you know what wards are. But the hermetic style that the Tremere use and the manner in which they are applied makes them completely invisible to detection until you trigger them. And if you happen to be looking in the right direction at the right time, you might see a rip or a tear in the shroud between this world and the next as something horrid is unleashed. It's a lot of ifs. It's a lot of maybes. It's a lot of being not just perfect, but perfectly perfect in the most absolutely outstanding way possible. There she is, rising up out of the landscape there on your left as you make your way. The building, the gargoyles across the top, the flying buttresses, the old school architecture that speaks to a different age. The sort of thing that students of architecture would travel, if not from across the world, at least from across the city to take a look at. The colonnades, the multi-level design. It is a thing to behold.
I suppose I could call it Murray to help.
You sure could. You should. She loves you. All you have to do is accept her into your heart.
And how and what are you going to offer, sir? Because nothing in life is free. Nothing comes without a price.
Well, this is kind of a favor for her, so maybe willing to help a little bit. No, it couldn't hurt to invoke her. Well, it probably could, but I'm gonna try it anyway.
I'm so proud of you.
So, as you make your way down Cotton, and you reach across the wide, vast distances, tugging on the coattails of a greater entity. Let's start with the base. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your manipulation plus etiquette?
Okay. It's not the absolute worst roll I could do. Let's see.
The worst roll? Okay, yeah, prove it. Come on, give us your worst. Dig deep and bring up the absolute dredges of all of your worst roll. We need all of the entirety of your dice pool to show up as ones.
Oh,
You got
God.
this. Come on.
That's a lot easier with fewer dice you have, actually, so.
Oh no. For this, Leader's dice pool has swelled to the fantabulous amount of exactly all of them.
Oh, wow.
Not bad. Oh, look at that. Look at that indeed. So what's your conveyance? Did you get an Uber, a Lyft? Did you take India's truck? What's your conveyance presently?
I think I'm in India's truck.
Loved, well cared for vehicle. Unlike Maddie's, which was a rolling death trap, kept moving by veritable mechanical genius. India's truck is a relatively modern, well kept, constantly washed and looked after vehicle. Now that has its benefits in that a certain range of ingrained safety, partially due to its newness and partially due to the care and attention, the preventative maintenance, the upkeep. So as you're rolling, staring, casting prayers out into the void, it dims. Not quite the same way as we're staring across the veil. It doesn't lose all color, but it pales. If there's a pall falling over the world. You smell cinnamon and myrrh mixing and mingling. Easier somewhere unseen, swinging in the gentle breeze of cold, long dead halls made of stone, colonnades of marble, ceilings painted in frescoes of various Bible passages. And then you hear after feeling her voice crawl along the skin. Like a gentle summer breeze presaging a storm. Far be it from me to ever say this best be an emergency. But I am sure you are learned enough to understand when I stated my intentions elsewhere that you will not be in that elsewhere or call upon my services unless you had every intentions of falling on your knees and supplicating. You intend to do later?
I am working toward their goal of destroying the Premier. They have wards that I cannot see, and I need help to deal with them.
Well, why didn't you say so? After all, I am the definition of helpful, amongst other things. All you have to do is pass. Are you, Lita, dear Lita, one of my faithful?
Faithful enough, I suppose.
Oh no. There is no doubt in faith. And you need not only have faith at this point, but you must be full of faith. You must be faithful in this as to grant you my strength, my vision of all the many, many wars they have. I must have access to your heart. Because just like killing, it is not done with the body. It's done with the mind. It's done with your heart. At least if you want to do it correctly. At least if you want to do it permanent. You need to understand. I need to be welcomed in. Will you?
I will.
Like magic. Figuratively and literally, the world explodes back into pure, vibrant color. You are able to see how yellow the light emanating from all the street lamps actually are. You are able to see the last bit of moisture dissipating from the sidewalk. You are able to smell, well, you are inside of a truck that is well maintained. So you are still able to smell the combustion, the explosion, the fire, the magic of technology happening all around you. And as you stare, and as the first pass along the chantry, it is awash in baleful light. The stars overhead dim by comparison as the place looks as if it is on fire. A tower of Babel tearing a hole in the stratosphere and carving a pit through the earth itself. There is a solid wall of flame around it, stretching into infinity. This point through the hedgerow, relatively unguarded. You'll still get burned, but you can make it through safely. It's initially hard to see it as something physical because you know that it is not physical. You know that it's not actually there, and yet you can see them clearly as they interlace, interlock, and swim through the sky and carve divots into the ground around it. You even see small lines of power rippling along the sidewalks and streets towards it. And to make matters worse, to add injury to the insult of it all, your entire existence, with it being as cerebral as it is, that you felt love. You understand it intellectually. You understood it in your father's service to you once you were given the actual kiss. You understand it in how much he adhered to your wills and your whims and took care of you in all that he provided during your living days and all that he provides you in your unliving days. You understood it and understand it intellectually from your sire when they share tidbits of information and guide you along your path. But it's a half step removed. It's the knowledge of a thing without the experience of it. Knowing that that's what powered those moments. Knowing that's what powers your father is different than feeling it on a cellular level. You don't know any way to prove it. And yet it washes away most things. It changes your perspective and perception on several past conversations had with your father and your sire, with your coterie. Feeling it on a cellular level in a way that you cannot intellectualize, in a way that you can put into words. Understanding it in a way that your skin grows itchy and realizing how shut down and isolated you'd been by choice. It's another matter entirely. Your soul, the animating presence of you, your beast, which is just your intrusive thoughts and worse selves, aligned in lockstep, as for the first time, you actually feel it in a way that can't be described in words. Song, lyric, poem, Hallmark gift card. That sums up what you are feeling, the immensity of it. And as you will align yourselves and sate yourselves and scout the location of the chantry house, And as you all each in your own way touch victory, bask in the light of what awaits you. Because your very souls are at risk. Your very continued existence and your mortalities are on the line. In ways that they have not been thus far. With Lita's acceptance and Maddie no longer being part of the band of the hand. The moment she says yes, the moment she allows Mirari in, you all have totally become avatars and priests of mirroring. And like a electric circuit finally completed, causing the light to come on, you all feel each other in the midst of your hunting, your hunger, in the midst of your niggling doubts and understandings, in ways that are far too intimate, in ways that are far too personal, in ways where you know your journal that you keep written on the pages of your heart are being flipped through and studied and photographed and stored for later by hands, eyes, and souls that are not your own. And somewhere in time, Mirari laughs, basking in the knowledge that you all four of you, are well and truly hers. And you understand, in that moment, certain beings who've never lived as human fear the dark. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Oh, we're gonna get this shit fired up like it's 1997, baby.
I'm feeling